Now, of course, anytime when there's used create once and then used in many other tables will be IDs as well. So anytime you have a value like a course code created once by the university is referred to in many other situations, such as a student's transcript refers to AB1234, another student also AB1234, but that other student is year 3. Then he starts taking AB1234. This student takes in year 1. So so different years, different background, different college school of the student can also use back that same code, and that code that makes the code create once, use many times, and so is frequently mirrored as an ID or primary key. Now, just a quick pointer about primary key and uniqueness. Primary key must be unique. Unique keys, unique values, right? I shouldn't use the word key. Unique values need not always be primary keys or may not even qualify as primary key. Okay. For example, hash functions that generate a bit of a sort of a digital signature of a content is kind of statistically unique. Let's just take it as unique. It's very, very unique. It's proven to be quite unique. Very little to no chance of clashing. So it's quite unique. But we seldom use hash digital certificates as our IDs, yeah, because people tend not to do very well with or remember their hash IDs. So uniqueness doesn't make it a quality for consideration to be primary key. And also uniqueness and global kind of scope. How unique is uniqueness? There's a consideration of, is it kind of class-wide unique? So for example, um, if we label a student, list them, you are student number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in this class. But another class, the instructor might also list the students 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that student code in that class is unique up to within the class. It's not even portable across other classes. So then that uniqueness, if you have an application that applies to only class in this students in this class, yes, that's unique and maybe considered as primary key. But if you want to extend it because it's so successful, you want to allow other instructors to use, then there'll be problem because your uniqueness is no longer guaranteed. Yeah. So global uniqueness can be countrywide or internationally. Now that sounds very good, right? Should we always look for something like that? But the more you globalize that uniqueness, the harder it is for you to find relevant and useful codes for that. So, for example, barcode is very unique, but to ensure globally uniqueness characteristics of barcodes, one has to apply and pay money to the barcode agency, the international agency that oversees all the codes. The reason why they oversee is that they guarantee the uniqueness, right? So you may not want sort of like over you may not want to over expand the globalness of your uniqueness, right? Wherever it works, and so long as it fits your applications, good enough. Okay, so next pointer is about names, right? Names, can they be used as primary key? Tend not to. So try not to use names, no matter how unique you think your application is dealing with in terms of people's names. Oh, my members are coming from international communities, so unlikely to clash. That is never guaranteed, right? So you may think that it never. So maybe your club or your membership is really international. You may see John Smith, you may see Bill Michael or whatnot, and then you see another Lee Kong Chin, whatever it is. So it may not clash with Asian names for Western names, and Asian names may not clash. Yes, you might make that assumption, but then you end up having a tourist that is also called Bill Smith as another member who is called Bill Smith. Oh, that is a problem, right? So when the name clashes, you may end up leaking information about that previous Bill Smith to a new Bill Smith. So that would be a problem. So never underestimate the potential issues that um, names can bring. So try to treat it as non-unique. That's the best. Next, ordered relations. Ordered relations refer to as um, kind of ownership, right? So that means there is some sort of a who owns what, who owns what. When we want to say you and this class is you are attending this class. So the sort of programmatic way of saying it is you and this class are related, are connected. How do we say that? How do we represent that? That is always represented by pairing them, pairing them. So when I connect the student metric ID, comma, the class ID or the course ID, then that means the student is attending. We can use whatever words to describe it, but down to the gist, it is pairing them up. Yeah, so the relationship is pairing them up. For example, if we look at a random YouTube video, who posted this video? So how do we represent this relationship? What YouTube is likely to do is to basically say this member, right? The person who posted this has an ID with YouTube, maybe the email ID. The ID is comma with this video ID, and that means this is the owner or the one who released this video on YouTube site. Okay, so relationship, who owns what, who is related to what, who is together with whom. All these are relationships. Who is related to what? The related to part we can always change with a verb. Who owns what is who is related to what through the ownership relationship in real life. Who is married to who is basically who owns, not who owns, who is paired to whom, and in terms of marriage in real life. Okay, so which student is studying which class? So we pair them up and say this student is paired with this class, and in real life, under the relationship of student is attending this class. Yeah, okay. So the together relationships, they are basically again implemented as pairing. Pairing. So when there's a ordered relationship, we can say the first one owns the second one. Yeah, so that meaning is clear. But if there's no pairing relationship, there's just kind of like a symmetric relationship, like marriage. Then in that case, it will be unpaired relationship, unpaired IDs. So who ID and who ID are paired together in an unordered way. So that means they are having a symmetric relationship, say under marriage. Okay. Um, let's form a group of 5 students. How do we represent that in our database? Simple, right? So we say these 5 students, they are grouped together in an unordered way. So ID of student 1, comma ID of student 2, 3, 4, 5, and then put in curly brackets. So writing wise is curly bracket, but um, what we do is we create a group ID 1, comma student 1, 2, comma student, sorry, 1, comma student 1, 1, comma student 2, 1, comma student 3, and 1, comma student 4 and 5. So everyone who has group ID 1 will belong to the same group or is interpreted as belonging to the same group. Okay, so that's a quick rundown of commonly encountered uh, situations about primary key, uniqueness, globality of the scope of uniqueness, and also the relationships, ordered relationships versus unordered relationships. Okay, so a little bit of pointer for you to start you off on a good footing. See you in the next video.